we went to Guatapé and it was so stunning. I cannot get over the views that Colombia has to offer. At La Minorista, there were so many stalls and so much fruit. So I picked up a few things, and one of the things I really liked was granadilla. I think it's what it's called, granadilla, depending on how you say your double L's. When I initially cut into this, I was a little bit freaked out. I thought it had gone moldy, and then it started looking like a scene out of Alien, and things were popping out. And then I realized I just hadn't cut deep enough into it and I hadn't exposed the seeds. But at this stage, I was like, oh, okay, I don't think it's moldy. I think it's just that outer layer. So in the second fruit, I give you a beautiful cross section. And as you can see, it's very similar to passion fruit. The taste is a lot sweeter, and it is almost as if a melon and something tropical like a lychee had a baby. Very, very sweet. Mixed it with some yogurt, some ice, a little bit of honey, and made a delicious smoothie. I think my preference would be to filter it out so that the seeds don't get stuck in your teeth. So this week's video is mostly about food. We went to a lot more places in our second week, tried a lot more menú del días, and had a lot more experiences with traditional Colombian food, which we didn't the first week. Oh, but I spoke too early. This was a French quiche, and this was delicious. You can find buñuelos everywhere in Medellín. It is like their top favorite street food, as well as arepas. I love this place. Everything is slow in a really good way. There's no processed foods, and everything's just made with love. So I talked about Mondongo soup in the first week's blog on Medium, and coming from a culture that is quite accustomed to eating tripe, it's a flavor that I'm really used to. So I love it. I also love soups in general. What's new for me is having avocado in soup. I was advised to salt it and lime it by the waiter and then put it in the soup, and it was really delicious. I think it's just an additional extra omega fat to put in my diet. So yeah, really healthy. Mondongo's was a really awesome experience. Great service, and they have a lot of typical Colombian dishes. Alambique was a really hidden gem for us. This one did not pop up on Google Maps, and this was thanks to some blogs that I have been reading about Medellín. It was just a really cool place, also celebrating slow food, had some really nice cocktails there, and the food also presented itself really, really pretty and quite generous as well. This was our tour guide, Sandy, from Tours Guatapé, and we had an awesome field trip with him. I would call it a field trip because it was about 10 hours long. It was a full day. It was such a beautiful change of scenery from the city. So here's a very short story for you. I once had a drone and then I lost it. So thank you to someone else in our group for having a drone and gifting us this shot. At the top, we got some ice cream at the top. As you can see, there's pieces of cheese in mine and a caramel center. So it's condensed milk, I believe, and it's called queso arequipe. Probably the most talked about dish in Medellín is bandeja paisa. And this will not be my last, so expect to see a few more incredible bandeja paisas coming up. Walking around the Zócalo was really, really beautiful. I love places where there are colorful houses. Burano y Murano comes to mind. Certain little towns like Cinque Terre. I don't know why my mind is so stuck on Italy. Maybe because Andrea's Italian. But I think color is just such a celebration of life, and it's so indicative of the people who live here, who just want to celebrate their history. A lot of these symbols that they have at the bottom of the houses are reflective of the families who live in them. So what is the symbol that represents your family? Is it a horse? Is it a boat? Is it a mountain? So needless to say, week 2 ended on a real high with Guatapé. If you're interested to learn more about what it's like being a digital nomad, head on over to my blog. I detail that a lot more in depth as opposed to this video is more just the highlights of week 2 in Medellín. And please subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, let me know if you have any questions and any suggestions for what to do with the next 2 weeks that we have here. Second week of Medellín, rapid fire. Things that I've noticed, there are a lot of national holidays. Other things that I noticed, drivers are really fast, and it feels like the cars are an extension of their natural body, as are the roads. It can be very thrilling to ride in a taxi or whatever your transport is. I finally tried tomato de árbol, which translates to tomato off the tree or tomato from the tree, and it is a fruit. Sorry, I was went low battery. It is tomato de árbol is a fruit, and it tastes also like a melon. I don't know what is up with all these fruits tasting like they're melons, but it's delicious. And so if you see that as a jugo del día that is offered with your menú del día, then I highly recommend trying it. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. What else? My favorite WeWork so far. They're all really interesting. In Medellín, it's like they all have awesome views. The one, and maybe keep this a secret, but the one that's least populated, in my opinion, is the one at Carrera 42. You're here as a digital nomad. I do think 4 weeks is more than enough. So you can do Comuna 13 or the other comunas. You can do Guatapé the other week. You can do maybe paragliding, and then you can do Parque Arvi. One of my top items for Medellín, a rain jacket. You cannot go anywhere without a rain jacket. There we go. It rains
sporadically, is that even the right term? It rains pretty much every day, but it'll be either for 1 hour long or for 5 minutes. And we've never been caught in it, funny enough, but we've seen it pour cats and dogs. Yeah, so I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.